September 29th, 2016. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 109 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So Teasers, Total Rewards.
Yes.
That's the Players Club card for Teasers.
For Teasers Entertainment.
Anyway, they've got a new tier credit bonus offer, kind of like the one that they had earlier this year.
Yeah.
Where you play a certain amount and they give you some bonus tier credits. This one that they've got going right now, for every 500 tier credits you earn between October 1st and December 31st of this year, 2016, they're going to give you an additional 100 tier credit bonus for 2017.
Oh, so you'll start 2017 with some
tier credits,
money.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't get
Okay.
applied until the beginning of the year 2017.
Well, that's smart.
Yes.
So they're not giving it to you for 2016, so
No.
you can't use it right away.
Yeah, and again, these
But
are
it
tier
does give
credits.
you a boost up.
Yeah, these are tier credits to get to the next tier level, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but for starting 2017,
Oh, yeah, you
if
get
you're
to
trying
jump
to
up.
get diamond, you've got to jump
Yeah,
up
you've got to
already.
jump up. Yeah, up to a maximum of 20,000, which might not affect me, but it might affect you. Who knows?
Yeah,
depending
right,
on how
yeah.
many you earn. Now, it is an opt-in offer, just like the last one, which means you have to actually go online and physically, click a button and opt in.
Now, did you get an email?
No.
See, I didn't get any
No,
email.
nobody got, and this has been, we got some emails about it, and it's been up on social media, people
Yeah.
talking about it.
So how were they advertising it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how some of these people found out about it. But
Well, that's weird.
well, see, that's the thing, is that they want to get your email address.
Right.
Right. Now, obviously,
But if
they already have
people
ours,
they
but
already have, how are we supposed to read their minds?
I don't know. I guess it was kind of like the last one. Honestly, it's probably out there somewhere and I just missed it. But you were
Maybe.
right. It didn't come in the form of an email.
Yeah.
At least I certainly didn't.
Well, I
get
read
it.
all my emails,
Yeah.
especially from casinos.
Yeah.
I might skip other ones, but
Right.
I do
Sure,
read all
of
the
course.
casino ones, and I didn't get anything.
All right. Well, now here's the thing. You have to opt in. And when you opt in, you click on the button and then you enter your email address.
Okay.
So I had to enter mine, even though obviously they already
They
have
have
it.
it.
Now, here's the thing. Your dad,
Yes.
he's 89 years old, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Almost 90.
Almost 90. Not a big email guy.
No.
Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. I know that what you've done is that for his Total Rewards account, you've just used your own email.
Right.
And then that way you can see the offers that he gets and then
Right,
you let
I
him
relay
know.
them to him.
Right. Here's the thing. For this opt-in offer, it has to be a unique email. So in other words,
Right.
if two accounts are using the same email,
Right.
the opt-in for this offer, it'll only be the first one that goes through.
Yeah.
And
So I'm going to have to get my dad an email account of his own.
You'll have to if you want him to opt into this offer.
Right.
And it'll have to be a legitimate email so that he actually gets the emails that you're currently getting for him.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that's up to you.
Well, he doesn't have a computer, so
See,
I have
that's
to get another email account on my computer.
Yes. That's
To-
what you're going to
to-
have to
yeah,
do, and you're going to have
right.
to check it every once in a while on his behalf.
Right.
Yes.
Which is like, he'll be bugging me. It'll be like every day he'll want me to check it.
So anyway, there you go. So just letting you know. And for
See, now had you not told me this right now, this is the first I've heard of this.
yes.
Now, how many people out there who have not heard at all?
Right. And I actually had meant to mention this to you before because I did recently see this. I go on to Dr. Mike's account to check on his earnings for tier credits and reward credits. I do the
Right.
same for me. I have both accounts and, I just
Right.
check them both. When I pull up your account, there is this message at the top, kind of this red message saying that there are two accounts, associated with the same email address as kind
Right.
of a warning. And I'm thinking, well, big deal. But I guess it is a big deal to a certain extent. So,
Okay. So, I'll have to get my wife on this. She'll create
do
an
it.
account
And that's
email.
good advice too for anybody else. Maybe like a couple who have technically two separate Total Rewards accounts,
Right.
but the same email address.
Sure.
They're going to be in the same boat. You're going to want to
Typically,
have
when you live with somebody, you do have the same email. I mean, a lot of times people do. I know you don't.
Whatever you say,
Yeah,
Dr.
I know
Mike.
you don't. But us older people, us dinosaur people, so it's easy. We have one.
Yeah, easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good word for it. It's easy
It's
to
easy.
share an email account with your wife. But anyway, yes, you do need unique email accounts for, well, I guess it's going to be in the same case of your wife's Total Rewards.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That's another
right?
one.
Yep,
She's
right.
going to need
She
her
uses-
own to,
right. She uses
to,
ours.
not as that she goes to the casinos often, but
But you might want to.
You're going to need three.
So
separate
how
email
do we
accounts
do
to-
this? Where do we go to register?
Oh, I'll put a link up on the show notes.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
and and then I'll just probably tell you privately since I don't think you ever look at the show notes.
No. And can you just do it all for me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. Now that I don't even know why I went through all this. I'll create an email account for your dad and for your wife, and I'll go through all those steps. Yeah.
I would love that.
I should have
just do that.
I
That's okay.
Thought of that. Now, at the Venetian in Las Vegas, they have a new roulette game. It's called Sands Roulette, because Sands is the corporation that owns Venetian, right? The Sands is the casino hotel,
the defunct casino that used to be
there, where Venetian Palazzo is now, right? So, Michael Shackelford first reported this new game on his Wizard of Vegas forum. This version of roulette has a 0, a 00, and a 000.
Boo.
Along with the numbers 1 through 36.
Boo.
Now, why are you booing? Maybe it's some fascinating game.
No, I know where this is going.
You know what the punchline is.
You don't even have to go further. I know already what it is. It's screw you.
Yeah,
is what it's called.
It basically is what it is. Yeah. It has the same, 1 through 36 numbers and then these 3 separate zeros. But the payouts are exactly the same as any standard roulette game.
Right.
So if you put money on one single number, it pays 35 to 1, just like any other. So
now there are basically 39 possible outcomes.
Yes.
Versus the 38 that we were used to, or the 37 that some casinos had.
That's right. Yeah, European. There are 37 on there. Yeah, that's right. This is just an example of a casino changing the rules of their games to try to get more money. They're saying it's Sands Roulette.
It's just a money grab.
Exactly. It's like moving to 6 to 5 blackjack and anything else. And we can get angry at them for doing it. We can blame ourselves as players for allowing this kind of thing to happen. I don't know how we're going to approach this, how you feel about it.
Don't play there. Nobody should ever play roulette at Venetian Palazzo.
Certainly roulette. Here's how bad it is. Now, a single zero roulette, which is what they call like European roulette, that just has the 1 0. There's a 2.7% house edge, which is, it's not that great, but all right, 2.7. American roulette wheels that have a 0 and 00, it's a 5.26% house edge, which is really terrible for, a game like that. This 000 roulette has a 7.69% house edge. That's how bad it is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. So in the middle of the roulette wheels, is there a big spike that sticks up? And when you're done playing, you get to sit on it before you leave?
Yeah, I think what happens is you actually sit on the roulette wheel. You don't see the spike initially.
Yeah.
And
it just comes up.
Yeah, they say, no more bets, and then boom. It's right there. Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
So just to be clear, if you do see this at Venetian, on the wheel itself, there's a 0, a 00, and the 000 is actually represented by the Sands logo. It's not actually a 000. It's the Sands logo.
It's kind of like disguise it kind of thing?
Yeah, like it's a special thing.
Oh, the S came up. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Make your bets.
That's right. Yeah, there's nothing else special. If you can bet on all the zeros, but it pays off just like betting any other 3 numbers on the roulette wheel. There's not like there's some, at least as far as I know, some bonus bet that at least makes it unique,
right?
In some way. No,
yeah,
it's just the roulette wheel with more,
like the middle column, paid,
or if one of the zeros turns up to be in one of the columns, or I don't know how they do it, but no, there's nothing. They didn't accommodate for anything like that.
No, it's just a money grab.
That's all it is. That is. So. A while back, listener Doug told us about a bet that he heard at the craps table in Vancouver, Canada. It was called the Not So Bet. And before I explain what it is, and I know you know what it is now, but had you heard of it before?
No, I had never heard of that.
No. And we went to Harrah's, Southern California, and we asked the dealers. We asked several dealers, so the pit.
Yeah, nobody a couple of the pit guys who are older and have been around a lot, they had no idea of it.
And, they tried to guess at what it was, and no, they couldn't come up with it. So what it means, a not so, it's 2 bets. It's not so high, not so low.
So it's an ace deuce and an 11.
Right. Remember, if you make a bet, give me a high low, that means 2 and 12. So in this case, a not so high, not so low, it's a 3 and 11.
Yeah. And usually people would call that, give me the ace deuce 11.
Ace deuce yo.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But no, this was not so. Anyway, it was in Canada, and I made the bet the other night, right? I said, okay, well, now you know what it is, so now maybe this will spread.
Now we got to go back this week, and you just got to call it out and
that's right.
see if anyone knows.
See if anybody knows, because we were really only talking to the dealers at our table in the pit. And
see if it got around to anybody else.
I doubt it
too. But somebody... Those people who were dealing to us last week, I bet you they'll remember.
They might remember, yeah. I bet if I say, give me a not so, they'll think about it for a second. They might not be, immediate, but it's
what was that again?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think one of the dealers said it was not so stupid.
Not so smart
yeah,
makes a little more sense. So maybe it was not so smart. Yeah.
Not so smart a bet?
Yeah.
That'd be all my bets.
That's right. Oh, we call that the Dr. Mike.
Yeah, we just call it the Dr. Mike.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. So on the last episode, we said, hey, why don't we talk about teasers?
Right.
Because we've never talked about them before. It's a sports wager, and it's very popular during football season.
Yes.
You
hear about it during
You hear about it,
season.
certainly. You can bet it on different sports, but usually NFL games is when you bet
there's
these
a lot of
teasers.
football games, both college and pro, and there's a lot of parlay bets going on.
Right.
I would wager, or I would guess, way more than any other time of the season. I mean, I don't know that there's a lot of parlays on hockey or baseball.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, football season,
football.
It's when all the sports bettors come out. Sure.
Right.
Oh, yeah. They,
most of them, when you
football.
hear professional sports bettors talk, that's when they make all their money.
That's usually, I will say that I do hear a lot of professionals make money on basketball.
On basketball, right? Yeah.
But certainly as far as a popular bet, betting on football in America.
And for recreational gamblers, I mean, if you're a
absolutely.
casual sports bettor, I guarantee it's mostly football.
Huge, yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. So let's talk about teasers. So teasers are kind of like parlays. And for just to real quick on parlays, a parlay is when you pick two or more bets, like two or more teams, say on an NFL Sunday,
right.
And all of your teams have to win. And if they all win, then you get a pretty good payout.
Right.
And for example, like if you just bet two teams to win and they both win, well, it pays plus 260. So in other words, if you bet $100, you'll win $260 plus your $100 back, right? If you bet three teams, it pays more and four,
right.
and
the
so
more
on,
teams you pick, the better it's going to pay.
The higher you're going to, you're going to get
if
paid.
you get them all, but it's a lot harder to do.
So teasers are kind of like parlays, but with teasers, you get to move the point spread in your favor. And then the sportsbook pays you lower odds to kind of make up for that.
Right. So there's a give and a take there.
Give and a take, right. There are a lot of different teasers you can bet. Since we're in the middle of football season, let's talk about a pretty common football teaser. Now, typically, you can bet 6-point or 6.5-point or 7-point teasers. Those are the real popular ones for football.
Okay.
6-point teaser, 6.5-point teaser, 7-point teaser. And you can bet anywhere from 2 to 10 teams. Well, that's going to depend on the sports book and what they offer as far as the points and how many teams you can bet on. But that'll depend on the sports book. So let's talk specifically, as an example, let's talk about a 6-point, 2-team teaser.
Okay, good.
Now, this Sunday, for real, this coming NFL Sunday, let's say you wanted to bet on Atlanta and Houston.
Okay,
two separate games. Two separate winners. You're going to bet on Atlanta and Houston. Now, right now, Atlanta is a 3-point underdog. You would say Atlanta is +3.
Right.
+3. They're going to get 3 points. Right. Houston is a 4.5-point favorite. So in that case, you would say Houston is -4.5.
They're giving away 4.5 points.
Right. Okay. So Atlanta right now is +3. Houston is -4.5. Now, if you bet a 6-point teaser on Atlanta and Houston, you would get an additional 6 points for each team.
Okay, so it'd be like I'd get 9 for Atlanta.
Right, instead of 3, you'd get 9. Mm-hmm.
And for Houston, instead of giving up 4.5, I would actually get a 1.5.
Right, yeah, exactly. You add 6 to -4.5, and you get +1.5.
Okay,
right,
good.
So now with this 6-point teaser, you now have Atlanta at +9 and Houston at +1.5. Now, the reason the sportsbooks can offer this is because the teasers do not pay as well as straight parlays. Again, like we said before, a straight 2-team parlay usually is listed at +260. However, in our example of a 6.2 team teaser, those usually are listed at minus 110.
Oh, okay. So you'd have to bet $110 to win 100.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
quite a difference.
It is quite a
Bet
difference.
100 to win 260 plus your 100 back, or bet 110 to win 100 plus your 110 back.
Correct. Yes. So you can see, you think, well, that's drastic, but also keep in mind the 6 points you're getting on both teams. That's pretty drastic too.
Oh, it's
Because
it's crazy.
suddenly Houston, which is the favorite, you're
Right.
getting 1.5 points.
Right. They could actually lose the game by a point and you'd still win that bet.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And the 9 points is significant too, because
Oh.
think about that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's over a touchdown.
Exactly. Yes.
So, they could still lose by a touchdown. You'd still win.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Now, again, that's a 6.2 team teaser. Payouts on other teasers, like 6.5 point or 7 point teasers, or on more teams, those are different. And it really, rather than talk about all the different combinations on the podcast, just check with your sports book. You can probably find some things online too. But if you go to the sports book and you just ask, hey, for a 6 point teaser, 3 teams or whatever, what do I have to lay, or what will you pay me, depending on what you're
Now,
betting.
does it change depending on the teams?
You mean like if
If I didn't, let's say I wasn't taking Atlanta and Houston on my 2 teams, I was taking 2 other teams, and
I see.
and I wanted to tease them with 6 points.
yeah,
Still the same?
it's still the same. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's
So
still
it
the
wouldn't
same.
matter which 2 teams I picked.
That's correct. Right, that's correct. Just like when you're making a straight bet against the point spread, usually it's minus 110. We talked last week about how
where it
Taylor had to bet a
wasn't.
little bit different.
Right.
But usually it's minus 110, no matter which side you bet on.
Right.
So yeah, you can bet a teaser on any 2 teams, 6 points, and it should, I say should, be the same, minus 110. But again, check
So
with
if
your
I'm
sports
doing
book.
like more, let's say I'm going to do like 7 teams.
Okay.
Or 8 teams,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And I want 6 points on all those teams.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to have to bet, like 300 to win 100 or something.
No. You've got it backwards. You've
it'd
still
be
got to
the other
hit.
way?
Yeah, you've still
Well,
got to
I've
hit,
gotta hit
8
them
of
all,
them.
right.
Yeah, no. It's still a long shot. You'll get paid more. No, you're not laying money in that case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why would somebody do a 2-team? Why not do like a 4-team?
Well, it's still hard to hit, even getting all those points.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this last weekend in the NFL, right?
Right.
All those underdogs winning, and
Right.
nobody could figure it out. So
Right.
it's still hard to do. And again, it's not as hard as a straight parlay, so you don't get paid as much. But yeah, the more teams you have there, the more. But still, good luck. Try it one week.
Okay, so now do you have, other than me just searching on the internet, do you have any place I can go, the Wizard of Oz or something, where they in depth explain?
Oh yeah,
Teasers
maybe I'll find a place that I can post where it will give examples of payouts
Right.
for the number of teams you've taken and the points that you've taken, and kind of gives a rundown there. And again, it's generally because it'll change from book to book. But
Yeah. Now, it'd be interesting to know whether this teasers are a good thing or a bad thing.
who knows? And in fact, that's something you can do, is go on the internet. Everybody's got an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And there's really no proof one way or the other that they're good or bad. I guess if you're
Well,
good at
if I-
handicapping to begin with, they could be good, but
Right, or not good. If you're really good at handicapping, right, you know which way to go.
I guess I don't know. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
a teaser is something more for somebody who's a little unsure about their handicapping ability.
Yeah, as far as actually making money at it and handicapping, is it good and bad? And I can't speak to that.
Well, maybe someone will call.
Maybe if anybody out there has done a lot of teaser betting,
and let us know what their experience is, whether it's worth it or not.
But if you want to try it, honestly, let's say you're in Vegas, go up to the book and just say, hey, look, I've never done a teaser before. Please walk me through it. That's good advice, actually, anytime you're gambling.
Right.
If you're upfront with the person and say, hey, I'm new to this, they're going to treat you a lot better. It shouldn't be this way, but they will treat you a lot better in general than if you go up and you act like you know what you're doing and you really don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for life,
I guess
really.
so, yeah.
I mean, probably shouldn't fake anything. I mean, you don't want to look stupid, so you try and fake it.
Yeah.
And you end up getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Happens all the time to everybody, right?
Sure, that's
so,
right.
I mean, maybe you're better off just pleading ignorance right off the bat and saying, hey, I don't know what's going on. And they'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll do the same at a craps table. They'll do it at a
absolutely.
blackjack table.
Yep.
Although some of the advice you get may not be the best.
No, but at least as far as the mechanics of a bet goes, to say,
Right.
hey, I want to do a teaser. What does that mean? How do I do it?
Right.
Once I've made the bet, what does it mean?
Should be able to explain to you.
Yeah. Now, if you ask them for advice, should I bet on Houston? What do you think about that? Well, then, who knows what kind of answer you're going to get there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who they're a fan of.
That's
really.
right. Well, speaking of learning new things at the casino, let's talk about VIMP real quick here, because we actually will be releasing one more episode before VIMP. But it's going
right before.
Yeah, right. But we're releasing our next episode the day before VIMP officially starts.
Yeah. Well, the day we leave.
Yes.
For VIMP
Yes.
is the day we're releasing.
So there are probably people who will be attending VIMP. This episode that we're recording right now might be the last one they hear before VIMP.
Right.
So,
right. Because if they're on their way there, they may not
maybe they don't
listen
have
to
it yet, or they're already there and they're not.
We won't talk to those people.
They don't want to listen to podcasts.
We won't give
when they're
anything
Vegas.
away.
Yeah. And so let's talk about VIMP, so that because there have been some developments here, and we want to talk about our schedule and what have you. So we want to remind everybody again. Craps meetup at Golden Gate at 1 p.m. on Friday, October 14th. If you're a novice, please come and play with us. We will teach you everything about the game.
Okay, that's right before the icebreaker.
That's right before the icebreaker and kind of the official beginning of VIMP. So
right.
1 o'clock, Golden Gate. And again, if it turns out that we get too many people for one table, talk to us. We'll take your name down and we'll plan on meeting you, at some other time at a table. We'll walk you through it.
And then, and when the icebreaker starts,
Yes.
we can continue to play.
Yes.
So people who are more experienced, come and play.
Yes, exactly.
Right. I
Sure.
mean, if you don't,
and the people who are already there can continue to play. Whatever you
Right.
want to do. What I'll probably do, I'll leave you at the table and then start going, making my way around and introducing myself to people and saying hi to everybody.
Right. And then you just point me out.
Yeah, you just stay.
That's
yeah,
him.
just
He
wait
won't
for
leave
the
the
table. That's right. We do have another meetup also planned now. This will be a post VIMP Craps meetup at Luxor, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. on Sunday, October 16th. Mike Patton, the casino shift manager at Luxor, set this up for us. So this is going to be great. And Vegas Fanboy is going to join us there.
We have our own table.
Yep, he's going to have a table ready for us. And I let him know, hey, there might be some low rollers there. So I'm hoping it'll be maybe a $5 table. That would be
I'm
great
sure
if you
it
could set
will
us
be.
up for that. So again, post-VIMP meetup at Luxor, 8 p.m. on Sunday. Let us know if you
Another
are...
good place to learn, too.
Yeah, let us know if you can make that, because that'd be great. But you don't have to. You don't have to reserve.
Yeah,
if you just show up that night,
Some
sure,
people
that's
might
fine.
be going home early.
That could
but if
be,
you're
yeah.
staying through Sunday to Monday
Yep.
like us, then,
Yep.
head on over.
Okay, bingo. They have announced bingo since our last episode, but it's no bingo.
No bingo.
No bingo. They were not able to work out an arrangement with gaming to allow real money bingo during our bingo event.
Okay.
So we're still going to be doing our podcast, as is Vegas Fanboy and Denton, Dallas and Beyond and Macau Tripping, but there won't be live money bingo going on in the background. Now, I don't know if they have anything else planned to go on in the background, or if it's just going to be us doing the podcast.
Oh, okay.
To
But there
complete
won't
silence.
be any kind of bingo, period.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
okay.
I don't
It
know.
might be some kind of quasi bingo.
I don't know. It does say no bingo, so it might not be bingo, but I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be doing our podcast. So
But I like the name, No Bingo.
No bingo. That's going to be Sunday, October 16th at 3 p.m. in the D showroom. So that's officially been set for 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Dr. Mike and I are going to be arriving Thursday night late. Our flight lands at like 10 something.
Right. So we'll be at the craps table at 11:15.
Okay, that is incorrect because just like last year, I am going straight to bed.
You are not going to bed.
I did it last year. Did I?
know you did, but that was crazy.
I'm going straight to bed because I know how this VIMP weekend affects my
Did we
body.
end up at up or down last year at the end result, at the end of the trip?
At the end of the trip, we were down.
We were down.
Yeah.
And it's because you went to bed that first night.
Okay, well, I'll take the hit for that.
Yeah. So this year, don't go to bed.
Nope, I'm going straight to bed. Otherwise, I'm going to be a wreck. I was already a wreck last year on that Monday morning. My wife thought I had a stroke when I called her. I'm not kidding. She said, "Are you okay?" So I know what that
But
weekend
I think
does
that
to
every
me.
time you call me. Every time I think, is he had a stroke or is he playing Sudoku?
All right, I'm going straight to bed. Folks, if you want to meet Dr. Mike, he'll probably be at the craps table about 11:15, and we're staying at Golden Gate that first night, that Thursday night.
Yeah,
so
we're
you'll
staying
probably be at Golden Gate, right?
Yeah, we're moving around a little on our hotel rooms.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we're not
Yeah.
staying in the same place 2 nights in a row, maybe one place. But anyway, so that'll be Thursday night. Now, the Chargers actually play that night. The Thursday night
that's
football
right.
game is the Chargers.
Unfortunately, we're going to be in the air.
We're not going to be
for
in
the
there
second
in
half
time
of
to
the-
make.
yeah.
Should we ask somebody to make a bet for us? Is that are we breaking some law by even suggesting this on the podcast?
Well, I don't know if that's breaking a law. It might be a little forward of us. But hey, if anybody is going to be there earlier in the day on Thursday,
Just get in contact with us for no reason.
Yeah.
No particular reason.
no
Just,
particular reason. But if you're going to be there early, let us know.
and we have a question for you.
Yeah, we have a question.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Marty.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Marty from Northern California. Hey, just a quick update on something that was discussed on the last show. Casino Royale has indeed gone to 3, 4, 5 times odds, and they only have one dice table now. So that's kind of the end of the longest 100 times odds game that I can remember in Vegas is gone. The good news is that the Cromwell does still have 100 times odds, still on all 4 of their tables. Normally they have 2 tables in the front open during the day, and then the one kind of closest to Flamingo and the one back by the club open at night. All $5 tables, all 100 times odds, $5,000 max. So we're still good there. And Casino Royale is, it looks like they must be imploding there. They remodeled the casino. They moved the tables back to effectively inside of the food court. Really bad placement where at least before you used to be able to walk by the door and see them. You can't anymore. They're way in the back. So, obviously things are hurting there a little bit for them. Anyway, have a great one, guys. Love the show. Bye.
Yeah. So
Well,
on
that's
our,
good news,
yeah,
I guess.
our last episode, we apparently erroneously reported that 100 times odds was gone from Cromwell.
Well, that's what we were told.
Right.
But we did mention that we weren't sure of
Yeah,
that.
sure. But it sounds like what really happened was 100 times odds has gone from Casino Royale.
Right.
They're at 3, 4, 5, but that 100 times odds is still at Cromwell. So that's great news.
So 2 things. Number 1, I wonder what the limits are now at Casino Royale.
Probably the same limits.
You think so?
I
You think
would-
they have $1, $2 table? or-
Well, you know, like $3. Maybe not $1 and $2, but maybe $3 tables at certain times of the day.
Right.
I
I
would
wonder
guess.
if they go up, you know, 'cause
You know,
they only
that's
have 3, 4, 5
That's a good
odds.
question because when they did have 100 times odds, if you bet less than $5,
Right.
you could only
could only
take
t-
it was like 10 times or 20
odds.
times. I can't remember exactly
Right.
what it was, but it wasn't until you made that $5 bet that you could go up to 100 times
yeah.
odds. So I'll bet their limits probably haven't changed. They just
Okay.
they just went to 3, 4, 5
Now,
times.
my
It's been too
second-
long since we've been there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and I don't see us going there either. I never liked
Not
playing there. It
now.
was too cramped.
It was too cramped, and a lot of times the dealers were inexperienced.
Right,
And it went
was
slow.
rookies.
Yeah,
Well, my second question is, when are we going to get to Cromwell?
I know. I
during
think
Bill? we got to go.
I think what's going to happen, Mike,
Yeah.
is before the official Luxor meetup at
Okay.
8 o'clock, because I made it for 8 o'clock so that people have plenty of time after No Bingo Bingo to go eat or do whatever they want. I
Right.
think after No Bingo Bingo, you and I just immediately to the strip,
Okay.
and maybe we'll hit Cromwell first before we go over to
Now,
Luxor.
what about Friday or Saturday night late?
I don't think we're going to hit the strip. I think we're going to be downtown pretty much all of Vimp.
I'm talking late. Late at night,
Uh-huh.
when everyone else has gone to sleep and the streets are empty in Vegas.
Yeah?
We head to Cromwell.
No.
Come on.
I know
Come
that.
on.
I know that you're trying to do a bit here and what have you. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to get good night's sleep during Vimp. Okay, I'm telling you right now because I'm going to be
People can meet me
drinking.
at Cromwell.
All right. Well, you let them know. We'll tweet, and I'll tweet on your behalf. Anytime you want to meet somebody, I'll tweet it out, and people you can meet Dr. Mike.
What if
and
people
so-
tweet you back and say, "We're at Cromwell, get over here"?
Then I'll call you or what? Why not just get on Twitter? All right, that would be the easiest thing to do.
Can you set an account up for me?
All right, let's. This is a good time to talk about a new podcast. It's called Casinos USA. It is a Casinos USA is a team of players that travel to casinos throughout the U.S. And they've got a new podcast hosted by team member Coach Fav. Like our show, it's for recreational gamblers, and Coach Fav is funny and he uses like silly sound effects and everything. And he actually wrote a book called Craps Across America. It's not in print anymore, but he did write a book about craps. Check it out. The reason that we bring it up now is because on their second episode, he talked about how 100 times odds is pretty much meaningless to the average player.
Yeah, like we've stated before.
Yeah,
It's-
and if, certainly to somebody like me. I mean, I can't
well,
see.
certainly to like 99.999% of all craps players, right?
The reason we bring it up so much on the show is because we appreciate when a casino does it.
Right.
It's certainly in favor of the player. And for someone like you, Dr. Mike, if
Yeah,
you're
on a hot roll,
on
I
a
get
hot
up
roll,
to
you
100
would
times
get up
that.
there,
Yeah.
right? Because you'll just
Right.
have $5 on the line.
Right.
A lot of times, if you're at a casino with 3, 4, 5, you've got a quarter on the line, and you're taking full odds, which on a 6 and 8 would be $125.
Right.
So if you got on a hot roll, and you're creasing it, I could see you getting a $5 pass line bet, backing it up with 500.
Oh, easily.
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, well, I've done it. So
Yep.
you have seen it. And an average person, too, on a hot roll might say, hey, what the hell? I'm up $2,000 already. I'm going for it.
Or even if they don't get to 100 times odds,
Right.
maybe a player like me,
take-
it's really hot. Maybe I'm up to 20
Yeah,
times
or
odds.
you take 50 times odds or
Yeah,
something.
something like that,
You
yeah.
could take
So-
a lot more than normally. That's why we like it.
Yes. Mhm.
And, I just like the fact that casinos are willing to get
Yes,
out there.
especially in
Right.
this climate where they're adding, more zeros to their
Right.
roulette wheels.
Right. I like a Benny Binion. I like a guy
Uh-huh.
that says, hey, I'll take any bet.
Yes.
You want to bet $1 million on the Super Bowl? He'd cover it.
Yeah,
Because he knew he still had an edge.
Yeah. Well, in the long run, yeah,
Right,
he's
in
going to
the
have an
long
edge,
run,
right?
he's got an edge.
Yeah, yeah. So check out Casinos USA. I'll post a link to their webpage on our show notes.
Now, did we meet them?
I don't think so, because there was that group
There was
that we
a
did
group
meet
that came-
at Harrah's, Southern California.
California,
And I
right.
wrote to Coach Fav and said, hey, did we meet some of your people out here? And he didn't say one way or the other. So I don't know. It did
Because we
seem
met a
awfully
group
familiar. Yeah,
and
we
they
did.
toured around the country
Yeah.
playing craps everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't think it was them, but I guess it could have been. So
Yeah, if it
we'll
is,
see, yeah.
it'd be interesting to know.
All right. On our last episode, we talked about how video poker machines in New York racinos are actually video lottery terminals. So let's hear from August.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is August from Bath. I got a little victory story for you guys. So I was literally getting into my car to drive out to Tioga Downs Casino. I listened to your podcast on the way out, realized that it's video lottery, not video poker, those SOBs. So there is a little sign on the machine that says this machine is not changed by any elements of skill, which I thought was strange, but it's not very specific.
Yeah.
What?
This machine not affected by any
An
element of skill or
element of skill.
whatever the actual wording is. Yeah, that's a very
Ambiguous.
yeah. It's
mean,
not very clear. It's like, okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Not changed by any level of skill.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is that these are not skill-based video
might
poker machines.
win something on this machine if you play it. But then again, if you don't, maybe something else might happen.
I think all slot machines actually say that, video poker or otherwise. Well, let's keep listening to August.
So that should really be marked better. So at Tioga Downs, they also have video roulette and video blackjack, and I'm wondering if the same rules apply for that, if that's also predetermined, because I won a little bit back on roulette, and I was wondering, is that predetermined or is that random? How does that all work? And then I just don't understand. So video poker is based on an element of skill because you hold cards and then you draw. So yeah, I guess I just don't understand how it could be predetermined. So I guess it's not a randomly shuffled deck. So like if I draw 4 to a royal flush, like maybe on certain hands, there's just no chance that I'll get a royal flush because it's been predetermined. I just don't understand how the programming on that works. So I don't know if you guys know, but thank you for Dennis for pointing that out. And, yeah, I'm going to rip up my player's card. I'm never going back. So I changed my plans, called up Allegheny. They got me a room, drove out there, had some good rolls on craps, but nothing too spectacular. So went to bed, decided to play a little bit of Mississippi Stud in the morning. I drew 2 8s. Then the next card was an 8. And then a jack, and then the last card, another 8. So my second 4 of a kind in about 2 months. I had $20 on the ante.
Sweet.
So cleared $8,000. So take that, Tioga Downs Casino. Allegheny is my home, and I'm going to keep coming back. So love your guys' show, and good luck to you at the tables.
Good.
I love to hear
Yeah,
that
it worked
story.
out great.
I love
Yeah.
to hear that. I get tingly. I got a little tingly when I knew the 4th 8 was coming. Why else would he tell the story? But I mean, I still,
3 8's pretty good.
I still got a little excited knowing it was
that
coming.
good.
That's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. Now, as far as the video blackjack and roulette at Tioga Downs, I don't know if those are also video lottery terminals. They might not be, because I understand that there are some legal gray areas regarding these racinos, that maybe these racinos are offering some games that are technically not legal. Maybe some are actually offering table games when they shouldn't be.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but my understanding is there is some controversy about some of these other games. So those video blackjack and roulette games may be real blackjack and real roulette.
Yeah, just maybe not legal.
Maybe not legal,
Maybe not
right?
legal.
Or maybe they are legal in their video lottery terminals. So not sure about that. But the question about, hey, wait a minute, video poker, I mean, you are holding cards and making decisions.
Yeah,
so
there is skill
How can that
involved.
not matter?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Let's hear from our good friend Robin at Anytime Gambling.
All right.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Dr. Mike. This is Robin from Connecticut from Anytime Gambling. And I just wanted to pile on here with the New York Racino thing. In a review that I did 3 years ago, it was the same thing at Empire. And with those particular machines, they're not any different from the bingo-like Class 2 machines you would find at an Indian reservation casino. You could actually hit 3 of a kind, get rid of all 3 cards, and end up with another 3 of a kind just because that was what you were slated to get. So, yeah, it's nothing to be bragging about because it's not real video poker. Hey, love the podcast, and I'm really sorry I won't be able to play craps with you guys at Vince, but win big, and I enjoy the podcast, love what you're doing, and I'm out.
Thanks, Robin. So these machines, they decide what hand you're going to end up with. And they
Doesn't
basically
matter what you
it doesn't
do.
matter what you do. They force you to end up with that
Right.
hand.
Right.
So you could get rid of a royal flush, and suddenly you've got a royal flush.
My
back.
daughter
Or-
could go and push the button and
Right.
win just as much as I could.
So we have never played these, so I've never actually seen how it works. If it really just replaces the same cards you got rid of, or if there's a message comes up and says, "Hey, you're about to get rid of 2 pair. Don't do that." I don't know, exactly what it does.
probably
but
just replaces it with what you're supposed to win.
It forces you to get the hand that it already decided you were going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's basically is no skill involved.
Correct.
You could just press the machine.
You just press the button. You can get rid of all 5 cards every time. You're going to have the
They
same
should have a
results
button
as,
on the
as doing nothing.
machine that says you put in your $100 and the button says if you want to play the max, say it's $5 for 20 straight hands, press this button and it'll just give you what you would have won. Or
That's right. It doesn't put any cards up there.
Nothing.
Say,
Just nothing. Just it
your
comes
ground
out
total is
$86
oh shoot, I lost.
$5,000 or whatever.
Oh, I must have hit a royal.
Yeah, you just press it once and you're done. You go home.
That would be about the same. Yes.
Yeah, that's quick casino. That's a quick casino. Quick casino trip. I'm going to go. I'm going to put my 100 in. They're going to tell me if I got how much I got back, if I got any back, or if I won a lot. Then I'll just go home.
Yep, exactly. There was an Onion article a few years ago where there were games like that. There were like these video slot machines where you just put your money in and it just said you lost.
Yeah.
Just every time.
You lost, you won.
No, you just lost.
That's
That's all it was.
That's all it was.
That's what casinos have come to now. Is you just put the money in and it comes up and says you
You
lost.
get home quicker that way.
A lot quicker.
You get your food coupon. You get your free hot dog and you go home.
That's right. That's right. All right. So
Wait, one more question.
Yeah.
So Robin said he can't play craps with us at Vimp.
he's not coming to Vimp.
He's not coming.
Yeah, it's not that he just refuses to play with it. Yeah, he's there the whole. Hey, did you see Robin over there? You know, let's go say hi, and he runs around the corner.
The way he phrased it,
No,
it's like,
he's-
sorry, I can't play with you guys. Like what?
That's right. That's right. I promised somebody. I can't tell you who. Yeah, I saw you playing with Mark and Dr. Mike. The deal's off. All right, so that video lottery terminals, avoid them.
Yes.
And look for that special sticker that says there's no skill involved.
Yeah, unless you just want to like throw away your money, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pure luck,
Yeah,
right?
it's right. Yeah,
Well, it's
there's
like
no,
buying a lottery ticket.
It's
kind of.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket.
But they've already determined how many winners are going to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. All right, let's hear from Neil.
Hey guys, this is Neil calling. Just got back from a Vegas trip and I just wanted to share an observation about massively long, extra big craps tables. It seems like they're popping up more and more in Vegas. And, I understand the reasoning behind it so they can fit more people in, this and that. But does it annoy you guys as much as it annoys me where the table is so big that you have to have someone scream out at the other end what the numbers are when they land? I kind of like to see what they are. And, a lot of the tables in Atlantic City are smaller where you can just see what they are. But if you're on the far side where someone's shooting where you are, you kind of have no clue what they are, especially in the loud casino. Also, it feels like you're just chucking the dice to the other side. I didn't know if this was only me that it really annoyed. I try to avoid those tables, but they've been popping up more and more in Las Vegas casinos, especially downtown. I've seen a lot more of them. Just wanted your thoughts on that. Thanks.
What do you think, Dr. Mike?
I got two things to say. Number one, I agree. I hate the extra long tables. I don't know. There's a right length, right? If it's too short, I don't like it either.
Sure.
But I really don't like the super long ones. And here's why. Number one, it is hard to see when they're on the other side. And if the stick man is fast with the stick, they're like 7. And before you
never
can
see
even,
it,
you
yeah.
never even see it. You're straining to look down there anyway, and then you can't see it because he grabs them real quick.
Yeah.
But also when the lighting's poor, you know how at Caesars there's a couple of tables that the lighting is so poor,
Yeah.
and it's not that the table's super long, but the lighting is poor. And if the dice happen to land in that dark zone, you cannot see.
I've
You're on
heard-
the other side of the table, and you can see.
Yeah, we've heard that they have a similar problem at O'Shea's.
Yeah,
It's hard to see
right.
the dice, yeah.
And when you can't see him, it's like, if he calls a winner, you're like, oh, great, But when it's 7, every time I feel like I'd like to have seen that,
Yeah.
But they grab them real quick. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the long
Okay.
tables.
Yeah.
Do they get any more people? Do they get more people around them? Do they
well,
get more than 8 people?
I mean,
on the side?
I guess, technically they can. And so they're not spending as much money per player on personnel. Yeah.
Staff,
So,
yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to be a dealer if you had, say, 10 or 12 people on your side, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, seriously, you had 12 people on your side. That'd be rough on a busy table.
I don't think I've ever seen 12 people on one side. Maybe 10.
You've seen 8.
Well, sure. I've seen 8.
And you've seen 10 probably.
Probably seen 10 on a really
Right.
crowded
Well, if you're going to
table.
get a
Yeah,
longer
it's gonna
table,
take it.
12's
Yeah.
not a big
well,
jump from there. But imagine if you're the stick man and you've got 10 and 10, 20 people.
Yeah. That's a lot to keep track of in the middle.
Right.
If
and
on a
you're
hot roll,
booking
there's all those
bets,
prop
and
bets. Yeah.
The prop bets where they place them is not huge.
Yes.
So a lot of times you'll see chips stacked on other chips because they can't lay them all out individually.
Yeah.
Boy, that would be rough.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hi, this is Ken and Travis in Chicago/Michigan. We are just walking into the Four Winds Casino in New Buffalo, Michigan, and we're remembering a couple questions we had for you. Number one, do you ever, when you place a place bet when you're playing craps, do you ever take it down? And if you do, when do you do that? And what was the other question? Oh, but I have a point. We were in Las Vegas over Labor Day weekend, and because of listening to you talk, we went to play craps at Teasers under the dome in the original casino, and wow, there was something really special about it. Like, I felt like I was graduating from the kids table to the adult table. And Travis, who was rolling, there was a man who had stepped up and bought in for, I want to say, $5,000. Travis was on a roll, and it was maybe not a monster roll. It was almost a monster roll. And he was hitting a lot of hard numbers for the guy who had bought in for $5,000. And every time Travis would roll that, the guy was passing down a green chip, and it was awesome. Yeah, that was really, really cool. So I think that's it. Your show is awesome. We listen to it when we're driving from Chicago, where we live, to Michigan, where we have a place, and sometimes to come to the Four Winds to have fun like we are tonight. And hopefully it's going to be good. And that's it. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Ken and
Good. I
Travis.
hope they won.
There is something special about that Caesars Palace Casino. It's called the Palace Casino. It's the
Right.
older one.
It's the older part.
There's nothing quite like it in all of Las Vegas. It's
The only thing that can even compare, and younger people won't know this, but the old Desert Inn.
really.
Remember? I mean, it was kind of like you're in the Desert Inn playing craps, and it was all high rollers.
Well,
remember?
okay,
I'm talking.
yeah.
I'm going back.
I do
30
remember
plus years
that, but
ago.
as far as atmosphere goes, I still
No, the
think,
atmosphere is better at Caesars.
Yeah,
because it was
I'm-
always dead. At the
I'm just
Desert
talking.
Inn.
There are times when the Palace Casino at Caesars is the last place I want to be, depending on how
Right.
things have been going. But honestly, there's nothing else like that casino. I think they even talked about it on the Vegas Tripping podcast. The Palace Casino, not the Forum Casino, which is on the other side by the
right.
sports book. But the Palace Casino, it's kind of intimate. It's under that, dome,
You're
the
under the
lights and
dome,
everything.
right. Well, and it's
the lighting, and
Caesars.
it's Caesar's Palace.
Right.
There's
And you can
just
be on
nothing quite like
you
it.
could be on a $5 or $10 crap table there.
It's at times, yeah.
At times, right? Or sometimes they're all 25, but you can be on a table, and the guy next to you could buy in for $100,000.
Yeah.
And no big deal, just play. I mean, for me, the excitement is when some guy does buy in for $100,000 and he's making just outrageous amounts of bets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love that.
Oh, sure. It's exciting.
I mean, I love I want him to win so bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want to see somebody walk away with, $500,000, in winnings.
Well, and of course, it's extra special for us because it's the casino where we hit all those fours years ago. And it's the casino where we've hit our only 6-point fire bet to this point.
Right, to this point. So, I mean, I love that casino.
Yeah.
But you remember the Desert Inn? It was just something about playing
I do remember the Desert Inn. But you know what I remember about it? I remember it being high rollers and dead.
Yeah. Well,
nobody was in there. There wasn't a sound. I don't think they were playing music or anything.
No, it was dead silent. You could sit in that casino and, you could hiccup and somebody would, what happened?
All right. Well, I'll admit that, I kind of missed that in a way, but I can't compare it to Caesars.
No, Caesars
Palace
is a little more exciting.
Yeah. All right. As far as taking place bets down, we don't take them down too often.
No, place bets we never take down, although periodically I have decreased mine.
Yes. And in fact, in Todd's book, Todd Goddess's book, How a Math Nerd Plays Craps, that's kind of one of his systems is to bet a certain amount and then reduce it.
Right.
We do, of course, take the bets down when a point is established on that number, because then it makes more sense to take odds on the pass line bet.
Right.
But not too often. When would we do it? I don't know. You want to guarantee that you're up for a shooter?
Right.
If you want to do that.
Or like I was using a system that Robin, a guy who plays at Harris, Southern California, uses where he bets $150 6 and 8 right after the come.
Yeah, you talked about it last time.
And if one of them hits, he drops down to $60 on each of them, and he takes the win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly a good
kind
way
of
to
like
go.
taking it down. Maybe you just want it to hit once. Just take it down after it hits once.
Right.
And then you're guaranteed a win. When should you take it down? I mean, we can't answer that.
Yeah,
it's however
that's
you want to play. There's no
Right.
strategic reason to take it down or make the bet any time
Right.
versus any other time.
Yeah, if you were worried about losing it, don't ever make it.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, because seriously, you can lose it on the first roll or the 10th roll.
It depends on how you enjoy playing. If you would prefer to just bet on the 6 and 8 and wait for each one to hit and then take them both down and just sit and wait until the shooter sevens out, if that's the way you enjoy playing, then
It's kind of like the guy that turns his bets off. The dice go off the table and he says, all my bets are off.
Right. You see that
So
quite
in
a bit.
effect, he's taking them down.
Yes.
He hasn't taken them down. He just turned
But they're
them
off for that roll at
So they
least.
don't win on the next roll or lose. And you'll see about half the time, 7 comes out. Oh, he looks like a genius.
Yeah.
And the other time, the 6 comes up and he lost money.
Yes, that's right.
So,
Yeah. So you're saying half the time, is that what you just came out of your
Well,
mouth?
I'm that generally saying it's not half the time.
right.
But you know what I'm saying.
I want to keep you on the
Yeah.
math track here,
Yeah,
Mike.
well,
That's
you
the
know
only
what I'm
reason
saying is sometimes
All right,
it- sometimes
don't take what Mike's saying literally.
Yeah.
Okay, we
sometimes
know
it
what you're
works
saying.
in their
yeah.
favor and sometimes it doesn't. But people think that it works in their favor all the time, so
Sure,
they do it.
sure.
And we sit there and laugh when the guy keeps them off for 3 rolls, then he puts them back on, and then the 7
Yeah,
comes,
that
right?
that'll happen too, just as often. So
Right. So when's a good time to take them off? If you're worried about taking them off, why ever bet them?
Yes.
That's
That's
thing.
kind of the way that I feel too.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
mean, that's what we put them up there. And
That's why we bet 'em, yeah.
They
We
stay there to win, and we increase them when we're ahead for the roll.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from Ben.
Hey guys, this is Ben from Minneapolis. Love the show. Question for you. I consider myself a fairly smart craps player. Smart in terms of I 99% of the time play the pass line with odds or the come line and odds, or I buy the 6 and 8. Nothing exotic, nothing on the outside. I stay away from anything that has a high house edge. However, I have found that the vast majority of my sessions end with me up a whole bunch or totally wiped out. I'm wondering why that is. I mean, I know streaks don't exist. I know every roll is independent. But anecdotally, at least, it really feels like every session is either a big winner or a big loser. Thanks a lot. Hope all is well, and keep up the great work. Love the show. Take care.
So again, kind of getting into semantics and
Right.
math and what have you. Streaks do exist. It's just that you can't really talk about them until they're done.
You can't anticipate streaks.
You can't anticipate streaks, and you can't say that, oh, I'm in the middle of a hot streak.
Right.
The 7 has just as much chance coming up on the next roll as any other roll.
Right.
So streaks do happen. It's just that you can't take advantage of them. There's no way that you can know.
You can only know about streaks if you tracked all the rolls and you looked back, say after 3 days, and said, well, here are all my rolls. Then you
Yeah.
could say, here was a streak.
Here
where
was
I
a streak,
really
right.
good,
Mhm.
and here was a streak that was really bad. But prior to the streaks, when you're actually playing, you have no idea.
You have no idea. So these streaks do happen, and that sometimes can be a reason for you at the end of a session being way up or way down.
Right.
How many times have we had a crap session where, we just lose, and then one shooter gets us all the way back and more.
Right.
That
happens all the time.
That happens all the time. Or you get into a streak where you can't believe it. 5 people, immediate 7 outs in a row. Right?
I was just going to say, and he brought this up about being a smart craps player. And I'm not saying he isn't, because the bets he's talking about are smart bets at the table. But how many times, including this very last weekend, were we at a table where 6 and 8 refused to come up, but 4s and 10s came up all night long?
I know.
I am telling you,
it is
we
so
got
true,
wiped
you guys.
out
Yeah.
because we were inside.
We never bet on the
Seriously,
4 and 10. It's
the
true.
4 hours we played, had I just bet 4 and 10 and nothing else, and specifically 4.
Yeah, 4
if
more
I
than
had
10.
Just
Just
bet
4.
4 all stinking night, I would have won several thousand.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, it was uncanny.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Is that a smart bet?
Right. And no, it would have been the other night, but you don't know that till after
but I didn't know that going in there. So I'm thinking, well, I'm going to bet 6 and 8. I mean, that's what you did. You lost money, and all you did all night long was bet 6 and 8.
Pretty much 6 and 8. I had pass line. We were playing at a $25 table, so I was not taking odds. It's just beyond
you just
my
had a
bankroll.
quarter on the pass line, and then you had 30
8,
on 6 and 8, and you get wiped out.
Yeah.
Because 4 and 10 came up like crazy.
Yeah.
And
nothing.
for whatever reason, that night is the night I choose not to go on the come line.
Yes, where you probably would
And
have
I
been
was
okay
just
because they
placing
were
all my
repeating.
inside. Yeah. Had I been on the come line, chances are I would have been a lot better.
So I don't know, Ben. Maybe this is just the nature of craps, or maybe you're only kind of remembering, the big losses and the big wins. I don't know.
Memory,
So who knows? Maybe if you kept track, you'd find out that really isn't the case in the long run, or maybe you're just in a streak of sessions where it's one way or the other. So
Mark's eyes lit up when he said streak. So you can't see that, but I'm seeing that.
So we certainly don't have a definitive answer.
No,
for
there's
you,
no
but
answer. There's
that's
no
kind
answer
of the
to
nature
that.
of the game. Yep. All right, let's hear from another Mark.
Yeah, hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Mark from Florida. I wanted to give you a call and kind of share an interesting craft story. I was out in Vegas downtown with my brother in July, and I wanted him to give you a call and tell you this story because he's got more details than I, because it was based on his play, but he was too shy to call. But we were downtown Grand, and here's a strategy that he was trying on a $5 craps table. He was doing $5 on the free buy bet on the 4 and the 10, and combining that with doing $10 don'ts. And as he was explaining this to other people, when we got back from our trip, they said, well, that's the craziest thing I ever heard of. But for whatever reason, the order of the dice, as they were coming out, he did pretty well with that, made about 200, he was up about 250 after about an hour and a half. And, if the point was a 4, then he'd do a buy bet on the 10 for $5, and then he'd do $10 don't come. So just wondered what you guys thought of that. I thought that was kind of nutty, but for whatever reason, it was working. Hey, I really like your show. Thanks a lot.
This is a perfect follow-up call to Ben's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Exactly.
Mark's brother just happened to pick the perfect system for what the dice happened to do during that session.
Right. He guessed right.
He guessed right, exactly. And if he were to keep using this same system over the long run, he would find that it's no better or worse than any other system.
Right. He just chose wisely.
He just chose wisely. Although if you're going to bet don't come and free buy bets on the 4 and 10, that actually is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not
pretty low house edge on that.
Yeah, it's a pretty low house edge. It's not a bad way to play.
Yeah.
So when he was betting don't come, so when a 4 was rolled,
I assume then
he would win his buy bet. Did he pull his buy bet down?
He'd pull his buy bet down.
And then went up to the don't come.
I assume. But, it was just a combination.
I mean, if he did that,
it makes sense, right? Otherwise,
it's probably
why
perfect timing.
Yeah.
And he probably, went up to hit a 4, let's say.
Yeah.
Then went up to the no 4, then rolled a 6 and 8, went up to the no 6, no 8, and then 7, right?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a perfect roll.
Yeah,
right?
it just could happen that way, right?
Yeah,
he rolls the 4 and 10 first, and then the don't bets win.
And then the don't bets win, right? I mean,
that probably would have worked for us.
Last week it would have been seriously.
Just
now
buy the
there
4
you
and
go.
10,
that would have been a perfect scenario, right? That would have been a perfect scenario.
So maybe we should think about this a little more.
Oh God! So it all boils down to if I know ahead of time what the dice are going to do, or the cards in our case, I can tell you exactly how to play. We would good our jobs.
All right, another call from August.
Hey guys, this is August. I just had a couple more things to share with you. So Seneca Casinos right now have a promotion going on for pro football that if you guess 205 out of the 234 regular season games, you win $1 million. So that's kind of a cool thing to get people like excited about football and come out in every week and you swipe your card and you make your picks. But I can't imagine anybody's going to get that many right. That seems pretty impossible. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody wins that.
Nope.
And then
I can tell you right now, no.
Quick thing about free play. I was just listening to one of your guys' older episodes, and you guys were complaining about having to get $25 goofy chips, and there's a chance to lose it all. But at least you don't have to use it all at once. For us, we get coupons, we get mailers in the mail, and you literally put that right on the line. Or at whatever your game of chance is, they don't break it down into goofy chips. So they check the date on the back and then you play it. So this one guy I saw, and it wasn't even a free play, it was a free match play. He had a $250 free match play. He played it on a hand of blackjack. I happen to be playing blackjack, which I don't normally play, but I just decided to play for a little bit. So he had $500 out there and he was dealt a pair of aces. And, I can tell he was like really struggling with the decision because it's like, of course you have to split them, but it's another $500. So after a minute, he decided he had to do it. And I can't remember exactly what he had, but the dealer had 2 face cards. So he lost the whole thing and it's just hard to watch. So that is one flaw with using your free play on blackjack. But sometimes I do it because if you do get dealt blackjack, they will pay you 3-2. Whereas otherwise you have to use the coupon for even money wagers only. You can't place the 6 and 8 on craps or make any hard ways or anything like that. So that's sort of the only way to get a little more out of it. And also they take it either way, win or lose. So it's not the best for table play. But anyway, I just wanted to share that and look forward to your show. Bye.
This is similar to what we talked about last episode about kind of increasing your bet in blackjack is what do you do suddenly when you need to split or double down? Suddenly you've got way more money out there than you anticipated. It can be the same too with match play coupons. Now, a while back, we referenced an article written by James Grosjean called Beyond Coupons. And it turns out that in some cases, when you're playing a match play at blackjack, you should deviate from basic strategy, right? Because you've only got a certain amount of your own money out there, to win twice as much, just on the straight.
So you
bet.
might not split those A's.
Yeah. Now, as it turns out, the aces in this case, going through Grosjean's article, the aces, it is correct to split in the case of aces.
Because you still have a good chance of winning.
It's still aces. But there are other times when maybe you don't. But that is something to keep in mind with match play and any other kind of bet. It's if you're at a blackjack table, if you're going to play perfect basic strategy, you might have to put more of your own money out there than maybe you anticipated.
And that could, in effect, nullify any free play you got.
That's right. Suddenly you lost way more money than you even brought with you.
Right. You lost more than you took. I hope Harris, Southern California doesn't go to this where it's just coupon plays.
Well, I hope it's not match play that they go to, but we'll see.
Eventually,
they keep messing with us.
That's probably coming. They keep changing things.
Now, as far as this $1 million pro football challenge at Seneca Casinos, it's kind of silly.
Well, it's silly. You talk about 100 times odds not being for the regular player. $1 million. They might as well offer 10 million. Yeah. 100 million.
205 winners out of 234 games. Now, first of all, there are 256 games in the season.
Yeah.
But I went to their website. Sure enough, it's if you get 205 winners out of 234 games.
So I'm not
sure
what
I don't know how.
Maybe Thursday night doesn't count.
Either way, it's impossible, right? When you're talking about that many
you can only lose 29 games.
Yeah, right.
Right. And by week 4, you've probably already lost.
Yeah, you're probably
10.
out of it by that point. Yeah. And speaking of week 4, we're coming up on week 4 of the season now. So there are only 208 games left. So you're not going to win the million even if you enter now. I mean, there's just no way. Right. Plus, I was looking at their 5 print. It's a 40-year annuity.
Okay.
Right. So you don't just get $1 million. They're covering themselves, even though they really don't need to.
Right. I mean, it'd be hard to figure out statistically what your chances of hitting that are.
Well,
I mean, it's impossible because there's so many upsets.
It's too many. It's kind of like when they were offering $1 billion for a perfect bracket.
And is this with the point spread?
I assume that it is not against the point spread because if it was against the point spread, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they should offer $1 billion.
Yeah, it'd be $1 billion if it was with the point spread. So I assumed it was no point spread, and even that still. I mean, how do you might pick.
Look at this last
Buffalo
weekend
to win.
Look at this last weekend, right? It was insane.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
only
right.
scores a field goal. They look great for the first 2 weeks, and then they look like the worst team in the NFL last week.
Yeah, well, in Houston, they didn't score at all.
No, yeah, right. Houston didn't score at all.
Yeah,
and people were talking about them being in the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, they do have a weekly, this is more reasonable. They do have weekly prizes for players who pick the most wins in a single week. That's a little more reasonable.
And that's what they know they're going to give away.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to give away.
It's all just PR.
Right.
So,
it's just PR. It just sounds nice to say
it's
$1 million.
interesting, but
in today's world, though, $1 million? Come on. Say $10 million.
You should say
it
10
sounds
million,
better, and
and it's still not going to happen.
And it's still not going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, one final call from Dave.
Hi, this is Dave from Chicago. First, I wanted to compliment you on your show. I find it absolutely delightful. I commute for work, and it really makes the commute a lot more pleasurable. I really appreciate all the work and effort that you put into it. It's really great. I'm a fellow craps player, definitely a low roller. I typically play the pass line with 2 times odds. If I find myself ahead, I will normally make some place bets, and occasionally I will make some hardway bets. I'm going to be heading out to Las Vegas in October with a group of friends, most of which are not craps players or table game players for that matter. And our standard operating procedure normally is we'll go to a casino, grab a drink. A lot of people will start playing some slot machines, and about a half hour or 45 minutes later, we'll head out to the next casino and repeat. So I guess I'd like to ask you, if you knew that you were walking up to a craps table, had about a half hour to play, and bought in for about $100 or $200, what would be your strategy for play? Would you simply increase your pass line and odds wagers, or would you add to that some come bets with odds? Would you make some place bets? Would you play the hard ways? If you could each provide me with the strategy that you would use in that situation, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to go first because it's going to be a well thought out, conservative way to play. And then you can answer.
And then I'll answer with the off
whatever
the hip
you're going to do.
shoot.
All right. So you've got a half hour to play. If you've got $100, here's what I would do. I would do $5 on the pass line, maybe double odds, so $10 odds, and then place the 6 and 8 for $6 each. Half an hour. You know, if things go well, you can kind of increase, but that's a good way to start. You get on a cold table, you could go through that 100 pretty quickly.
Sure.
If you've got $200, what I would probably do is pass line and 2 come bets with double odds. So at any time you've got $45 out there, 7 comes up, you lose 45. That could go quick too for 200. But those are the ways that I would do it based on $100 or $200 for a half hour at the table. All right.
Okay. Yeah, those are reasonable ways to play.
All right.
They're not good, but they're
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Oh,
Those
really?
Are fine.
Oh, really?
Those are fine.
All right, let's hear. I do want to hear
No,
how you would
seriously,
play
I
them.
would two things.
All right.
Number one, depending on, how well I like the people I'm with or how much I don't like the people I'm with.
Okay.
I would go up to the table with my $200, and if I wanted to stay there the whole half hour, I'd bet $5 on the line. I'd probably take more than double odds. I'd probably take 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Whatever. And then I would make come bets. Just 2 come bets.
Okay.
And I'd go up to those 2 numbers and I'd see what happens.
Okay.
If I got a little ahead, I'd probably make some hard way bets or I'd place some numbers. And if I didn't, you could probably last your 2 hours with just come bets, $5 come bets.
Yeah, at 3, 4, 5 times odds. I mean, certainly you could. I'm not saying you can't, but if it's real cold right away, suddenly you've got only $20 in your rack.
Right. And that's when you go and bother your friends playing slot machines. Stand behind them and bother them enough that they either give you money to leave, or they just put up with it and you get the fun of
either way. It's good for you.
Either way, it's good.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do, is just, if you want to get out of there quick, just
get out of there quick.
$60 6 and 8, $60 6 and 8, $120. See what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah, and if you lose, like I said, go bug your friends.
Let's go to the next casino.
Yeah. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Color up.
Good advice, Dr. Mike. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, some recurring donations from Brian and Sarah. Thank you very much. Also from Zach for the recurring donation. Thank you. Also, thank you very much to Matt and Krishna. They wrote, "We tried to win a donation for the show in Black Hawk, Colorado recently, but in typical fashion, Black Hawk took our money. Can't hold you responsible for that now, can we? Thank you for the wonderful show. We look forward to seeing you in October." So they lost the bet, and they still made us a donation. That's
wonderful
fantastic.
people.
Yep.
Those are the kind of people that we'll have to treat to a drink.
That's right. At least at Vimp.
Yeah.
And then also August. Thank you very much. Here's what August said. He sent us this donation and he said this was an optional assignment. It's an assignment that I think we're going to take though. He wants us to use his donation to hop the 5 or 9 for each of us. So if the point is 5, we wait until the 5th roll after that point has been established, and we hop the 5.
Okay.
If the point's 9, we wait until the 9th roll and hop the 9.
Be a little harder.
If there's a 7 out before, then we just wait.
Right.
Well, we wait for that. We make the hop bet. That's what he'd like us to do. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, and I think we can do that.
Yeah.
You'll have to keep track of the rolls.
Well, I always do.
Yeah, you'll have to.
You know me.
Because I won't.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike.
Well, I'm very excited about Vim coming up.
Oh, man, me too, yeah.
It's one of those things, though, where, we get to meet a lot of people.
Yes.
We get to play craps, which we love to do. And it's like, for us, 3.5 days, which is like an eternity.
It might be too much.
It's a little too much, really. That's why you act like you've had a stroke at the end of
exactly.
it. Right. Me, I don't. I'm the same. I'm level-headed the whole way. You're up and down.
Excuse me?
But anyway, I think we said this last year, and I'm going to repeat it this year.
Okay.
Nobody, please don't be offended if I don't remember your name.
Oh, I know.
I'm so bad with
They
that.
talked about it on 500 too. I'm terrible with it. And I can't tell you how many times somebody's come up and it was like Greg last year, came. I was actually tweeting him, come on over. He came up to the table. It's like, oh, hi, Mark Duvall. You can bet on that. So, let's just apologize in advance for us not recognizing you.
For that. But you know what? I do remember faces. So I'll remember that we met. I just won't remember your name. But once I know your name and you say, oh, yeah, I live in Philadelphia. I remember now.
Yeah.
So I am good about that.
Yeah.
But even during the weekend, I can forget.
Oh, I know.
And I have a plan for this Vimp that you're going to be just shocked about.
All right. You going to tell me right now?
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to go low rolling.
Okay.
I'm going to try and keep it down and just stretch my money out the whole week.
I'm looking forward to seeing what low rolling means to you.
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
All right.
And then, I might be drinking more than usual.
Which is none. You never drink.
Hardly.
I mean, I rarely, honestly, Dr. Mike will once in a while have a beer in a social setting, but that's unusual.
Yeah. So I might be drinking more.
Okay. Good. That'll help.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Yeah. Just to take the pain away from not, putting 100 on the line.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Anything else?
I think we're good.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.